Right, good morning. It's 5 to 9 Sunday morning, and we're back in doing our set design for Shrek the Musical. So we're only here for a couple of hours today, 4 hours today, so we're trying to get things done that we think we should be able to do in that time. So today what we're going to be focusing on is constructing a wall with a hole in it. And what's happening with that bit is we're going to have somebody inside here so they can operate a puppet of a gingerbread man. So you can see the hand just come through and uses a hand puppet. So we're going to try and do that and get that bit done. They actually fit into the scene at the start with Lord Farquaad, which is on one of these ones. There we go. So that's actually going to be inserted into this scene here, so where we've got the chair where we can sit, we'll probably have this part over here, so that's got to be done. But we're also going to double up with this so it fits into another part of the scenery, which is where they're at the Dragon's Castle. So the Dragon's Castle is somewhere. Oh, Fiona's Castle's right in front of me here. So what we're going to have here is two bits where you've got some guards chained to a wall, and then once you've chained them to the wall, we've got a stand in the middle just to make it look a little bit different from the other bits, and obviously people can be chased around these parts as well. In addition to that, we're now going to be 3D printing. We've got the files ready to go to 3D print Pinocchio's nose, see if that works. So we've done some of the designs for that. So we've got the measurements that we've done ready to go and worked out the apertures of the taper coming through for that to work. So it should assemble into 3 parts like that and then fix to the mask. So it's a busy morning. So we're going to try and get Pinocchio's nose done, these 2 walls done, the socket out for this part here, and then have a go at the gingerbread man as well, and we'll talk you through how we're getting on from that bit. One of them we're going to repurpose from Matilda, so this is our Matilda set. So we're going to try and take some of these out and use the frames for that, just to help out on that. And we've got some laser cutting to do with the chains. Right, so we're at the final stages now where we're looking at doing things like the door sort of furniture. So we need to make a door knocker or a handle that can be used on the actual door here. So what we've done is we've drawn this up into 2D design, just about to download it again. We got Bob on the job, so I'm just going to click onto OK. Send that down to our file, and our files down here should be OK, just waiting for that to pop up to say that it is. GPK file, yes we do. Downloading, successful, brilliant. So we just go into here, file, click onto defaults, there it is, we can see the picture into our side. Just press enter, and then we just do that and press start. So that should now start cutting out part of our frames. So again, this took a few seconds. The actual drawing that we've got on the screen probably took about a minute to do. You simply just set the grid to, well, I've still got it open so I can just explain what we've done. So we've literally just set the grid to 6, and then we've drawn the squares, selected the circle, draw the circle, 2 circles in here so it matches the same, line across, separate them, and then 2 large circles. So it took about 3 minutes, if that tops, to send it through. So we've gone from the drawing to the prototype probably in about, I'd probably say under 5 minutes, which is just brings the advantages of having these machines to do the work for us. So part of the thing of designing is we have to make sure how things interconnect with them, and it's all about using the measurements and the grid lock. So as long as we've got the grids straight, so for example where we have the lines down here, I'll just select this one just to make sure, and we hope it'll fit, that we can just jump and place that over the top, so just turn my grid lock off. So I should be able to just check that that will slot into there, which clearly it will. Yeah, we'll probably be using these for the castle and the other parts as well, and also to hold the chains to the wall. So we'll use these in a few applications. So there's a part that we haven't designed yet, where we've got some of the soldiers or guards that are inside the castle that's been captured by the dragon, that are chained to a wall. So we use these to put the chains through. The chains, we're probably going to make it a different way to this, rather than laser cutting loads of circles out. Well, it's just a case of having the time to just work out how we're going to do that. So we should be getting near completion now. So we are actually on the last part. And there we go. So let's just see if it works. So it's cut out, which is a good sign. So we've got that part there. Yeah, no problem. And that's the part for the door handle. So that, once it's done, will actually hold on the doors, and it just needs to be a bit distressed. It may be edited. So we could have actually placed in 2 holes here for the drill, save us drilling it, but as we don't know where it is or if we're just sticking it on, we'll just leave that for the time being. And that's another job done. Right, so we're at the next stage where we've drilled the pilot holes, we've countersunk them so the heads are below the wood, and then we've used the screws to come through, and then finally we've trimmed them with the oscillator just to get through. So on this side, what we've actually gone with is some 6mm MDF. Now, although that is a lot heavier than the ply, the 3mm ply, what we decided to do is, because the other side was still quite weak, it's only cardboard, is to put this on just to make it heavier. And that's just because, and we've got the one finish over here that Mr. Bradley's already done, people are going to be chained to the wall here, so they're going to have things on, so we don't want them too loose. This one we can weigh down a little bit, but this one we just needed a bit, because it's not as wide, we just needed a bit of the structure to it, a bit of weight. Now on this one as well, we've got to cut the hole out and patch the brickwork up for the puppet. So that's another reason why we needed that one to be a bit lighter. But yeah, we're on to the point now where we've just sanded these edges down, quick tea break, and then that's going to be painted up. Right, so the next stage we're looking at is how we construct the chains. So we've got to build some chains where people are chained to the wall, but it's got to be lightweight, but it's also got to be robust and quick to do. So our idea, which we haven't tested yet, so this will be a good prototype, is where we're actually going to laser cut chains out. They won't be this size. We can see we've got a little V shape in, which should enable them to be twisted slightly to open and then come back through with a bit of luck. And the torsional strength of the material, the MDF, should allow us to bend it a little bit without it breaking. We can always then glue those after. So we're going to try that out now and laser cut this one through as a sample, and if it works, that's how we'll go with the chains. So this is the update on Pinocchio's nose. So we've gone from the CAD drawings, which we've done, and obviously today what we've done is we've set this 3D printing ready to go. So what we're doing is we've got here the image of how it is on the tray. So let me just close that one for a second, and if we just go back to the main bit. So this is a tray that we've got on the board. So basically when we 3D print, this board slots in, and it gives us areas where we can print on. Onto ours. So we've assigned it to the best fit onto the screen. So if we just zoom in a little bit from there so we can see. So what we've actually got are the 3 parts. We've got the third section, the second section which goes into it, and then the third section which is going to fit into it. And it's 3D printing this at the same time. We've also done the bit where we could see where we've actually got the stages being built up with the support material. So we've now set this to running, so it's been running now for about an hour, and you can see the details are showing us it's on layer 96, and each one of these layers is probably about 1/4 of a millimetre that we're printing on, so you can see that there's quite a lot of layers being on, and it's saying that we've still got another 3 hours and 40 minutes remaining. So in an hour it's started to build and 3D print these parts, so hopefully what we can see is this in process. So actually what is happening there is the one head is actually placing the support material in, and the second head is printing with the material that is going to be left behind, which in this case is PLA. When it's actually going to the other side, it's stopping the drips by printing onto that column onto there. So it's just a way of it actually constructing it. Now when these come out, they'll be absolutely rigid. And so what we'll do is come back in another 3 hours and 40 minutes and we'll see it taken out of the machine. Right, so you can see how we constructed this now with the things going through. We've just took the back off here, we just need to tighten up on some of the nails and that otherwise. But you can see how we constructed it with the screws onto here, pilot drilled. It's quite sturdy, but it's very light framed. So hopefully that's going to do what we need it to do. If not, then we're going to have to put a bit of weight onto the bottom just to weigh them down a bit and maybe put it across. That's actually holding quite well at the minute, but it has got to be that lightweight for them to be able to move it off and on the screen. So you can see you can literally lift it one-handedly so we can get off and on. And the dangers would probably be with this, it's obviously when it's being moved it's a bit knocked about a bit. So what we are going to do is just cut some triangles and just triangular support these parts, just to maybe stick them on the inside in case we do need to skin it at some other further point. But that's pretty much it for this part of this one, and the other one's being painted as we speak. So we've got the second one drawn up onto that, and so it's just finishing painting the base grey, which is giving you the effect of the stone. Okay, so the print's actually finished now, so we're just going to open the door just to retrieve it. And there we go, we've got all the components. That's all been printed in. Yeah, so these are the bits that's going to make the 3 sections of Pinocchio's nose. You've got the top piece here, the bottom piece that will connect to the mask, and then we've got the middle section. And these all slide into each other, so they sort of interlock with the taper that's in. So we've designed it, hopefully, and we have done some simulations, so we're hoping it's going to work. But obviously you don't know until you actually get the material thing out. This part here is just what the 3D printer prints, just to clear the nozzle, so it should try and stop some of these thin lines that appear, the webbing. And that's it, so we're ready to assemble those, and let's see if it works. Right, so that's the end of our 4-hour stint. It's just coming up to, just gone 1 o'clock. And what we've done today is we've looked at the gingerbread man, trying to get this set together so actors can start to act with it. So that's as we constructed with the frame that you can see on here. So the idea being is we've got the 2 walls with the chains on. And as you can see, we've got the 2 walls with the chains on. So these bits will be eventually stuck on with Velcro. We've just panel pinned them there just for the moment, just to give us a look. And you can see how we've laser cut and distressed the chain. So the laser cut's pretty good. It's like having a 4th person, really, because while we're actually laser cutting, they're sort of getting on doing this bit while we're carrying on working. So you can see how that bit's going to fit through. We've got the other bits onto there where they're chained. We've also got the bit in the middle, which we've almost run out of time at, but we've got most of it done. So we've got the stand complete. We've laser cut these parts down here. We've had a few errors where some of the things haven't just fitted in, so we've had to put them together that way. Once they're painted up, nobody's really going to see. Plan for this one is we're going to have things like toilet rolls, like logs sticking out once it's done, and then the flame coming up at the top. So obviously that will look better, and we've just glued that bit on. So once it's painted up, that should be okay. So that's one of the things that we got slightly wrong, but again, you won't see that when you're into that bit. So going from our drawing point of view, where we've got the chains, the middle part, and that bit for obviously the dragon and Shrek to run around, that does look very similar to our sketch that we've got here. So we've done that. That's pretty good. Other thing that we did, Pinocchio. So we've got the sketch for Pinocchio here and the other bits from there. So we've now got that complete. So there's a sketch where it was with the mask that we're going to try and bring this bit in with the glue gun, with the mask down there. We've worked out the actual sizes just in our heads to start off with onto the bit of paper, and that's where the plan comes. We just then caddied it up. So we've got the things that we've caddied up and 3D printed those. 3D printer was already run and set up for the other parts. So in reality, what that actually looks like is this over here. So we've got the glue gun that we've placed on to the area, and that just makes it look like a bit of bark, which we then painted over with the wood. Obviously we can't do that on this part because it needs to extend and contract. So eventually we'll have the mechanisms, for this to work, and to stop it coming all the way through, we'll be laser cutting an image or a leaf on the end to stop that going all the way back in when it's retracted. So that's the main thing for that bit. So we've still got a bit of work to do with Pinocchio, but generally we're happy with that. From that point of view, it's worked really well. Right, so the next stage was how we was going to do the puppet for the gingerbread man. Initially we came up with this idea where we've got the sponge that we was going to glue together so the hand puppet could go inside. Pretty similar to what you would find with those big hands that you get at stadiums and various things like that. So we tried that. We actually painted it and we PVA'd it. So it looks okay for the time being, but what we found is it's starting to get distresses. So where it bends, it's now actually starting to tear and crack. So that's also another failure. So our next plan to that one is probably to go down the route of getting some material, still keeping this as a padding inside, getting some material and actually stitching and sewing a gingerbread man together with these bits inside, and maybe keep the sponge for some of the other bits. This doesn't look too bad because obviously we can cut the legs off and just use this, only the head on this one. But that failed. So the PVA just made it a bit too brittle really for it. So we might have another think of that one. But generally, I think we've got the time to do so. We've got the two bits that we've done down there, and we've got part of the sets that we got finished down there.